Good evening, everyone. Hope you are all okay. Hopefully, we should be on Facebook now. Always takes a couple of seconds. Yes, I can see myself. I am live. If you're watching this back, make sure you put hashtag replay so I know who has been involved and who's watched it. If you've got any questions, whether going through it now, watching it back later on, feel free to add them in. So hope you've all had a good Monday today. It is absolutely freezing. Didn't enjoy going to the gym because I literally just put my top on, swapped to a different hoodie to go. And I was like, oh, I don't need a coat in the car. Yes, you do. Although when I came out, it wasn't too bad because obviously I was a bit hot and sweater. So straight into today's presentation. So getting back on track in January, which can be a little bit difficult because you've got all the Christmas stuff around. It's not quite the same as just starting a diet or just deciding after a holiday to diet. It is a little bit differently. And Happy New Year to everyone. Thought that was quite a good little picture put up. So hopefully you've all had a good New Year. So I spoke about this last week and I have officially started my diet today and I am starving already. So last week, this is what I did and what I want you guys to do this week, which is my pre-diet diet, which I speak about all the time. I always do it. I've done different variations of it, but it just helps ease you into a diet. Now, some people feel that they can just go cold turkey and that's it. Whereas I feel like I need to kind of phase into a diet, like going from eating so much food over Christmas, just eating what you want when you want, whether you're hungry or not. It can be quite a stark difference to then having to go into a diet and obviously be restricted. Already today I've gone, oh, I really want a biscuit. Like, do I want it because I want it or do I want it because it's what I've been doing? Like, and you're having to question yourself. So go through your cupboard, literally pull everything out, see what's in there. Because obviously there's things hiding at the back sometimes. Have a look at what you've got left from Christmas. So if you saw my video last week, what I did was I did these things, went through my freezer, went through my fridge, ate the things out the freezer pretty much straight away because I thought I'll forget about that they're in there and then go, oh, look at all this ice cream. I had some Ben and Jerry's in there. Then I went through the fridge and kind of put things to one side in the fridge and I was like, right, those are the things I kind of need to incorporate in over the next few days. And then the cupboards and obviously the chocolate is quite easy. I just put them on my table, on my dining table. So then I could kind of see them and go, do I want that today? Can I fit that in? Like I was going to get like a normal biscuit. Shall I have a cookie instead? Sort of thing. And just kind of like fit them in. Although I have found that I got some chocolate for Christmas, which wasn't really a massive fan of. Like I've pretty much eaten the whole thing this week. And it's like, I know obviously it's like, you know, a regular bar, well, a big bar, like, but then I was like, did I eat that because I wanted it or just because it was there? You know, and that's what we do sometimes. So go through and like, what do you want to eat? What can you give away to other people? So I bought a box of, is it Benedict's mints for Christmas? And I'm not a massive fan of the ones that are like Kendall mint cake. Like I'll eat them, of course. There was like 4 different varieties and there's 2 basically I wasn't a massive fan of. So the 2 I wasn't a massive fan of, I took to my mum's on New Year's Day. I was like, there you go, family, eat them. Don't give them me back. I don't want them. Because again, I would have eaten them just for the sake of it. And then what needs to go in the bin? So there's only, I think, 2 squares of that chocolate that I shouldn't have really been eating. To be honest, it probably just needs to go in the bin because like I'd just be trying to fit it into my calories and there'd be no enjoyment there whatsoever. And then a big thing, start to meal prep some items. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to do a full-on meal prep. You can just cook some veg for the next few days to add into your meals. You could just cook some protein sources. You could just prep your breakfast, you know, just start getting back into that routine as you go through the week. Start looking at food portions. You know, have you kind of gone from having a small bowl of something to like 2 bowls, a big bowl? You know, where have your portions kind of gone? Depending how much time you've had off, of not dieting, whether that's like a couple of weeks, couple of days, couple of months. Like obviously people are starting Project U, they may not have dieted before. Like have a look at the portions that's on your plate. How much veg is on there? How much carbohydrates? How much sauce are you putting on there? Are you cooking with oils? Things like that. And how much protein is on that plate. You know, can you reduce your food portions down, or do you need to increase your portions of something? So you might think, oh, I don't really put much salad or veg in there. I don't eat a massive amount of fruit, just because I don't get massive enjoyment from eating fruit, and I wouldn't say it filled me up. So I just don't have a lot of fruit. But maybe that is something I could kind of look at getting in. I think towards the summer, I get more fruit in my diet for sure. And then look at the quality, like I said, of your food, you know, what is on that plate and how much water are you drinking. So I bought these little bottles. They were from like a pound shop, although I think it's called One Below. But not everything's a pound. It's a bit like Pound Stretcher sort of thing. And they were not a pound. But they're 500 ml. So I bought 2 of them. I thought, well, you know, brand colours for a start. It's just got like a nice little lid on it. It's 500 ml. Easy to track. And I think that's my second or my third? I've tracked it anyway, don't worry. So I use MyFitnessPal to track my water because it's just at the bottom. I thought I'm on there for my food anyway. I might as well put the water on there, because last time I did the photo shoot prep, I was like, yeah, definitely drinking 3 litres a day for sure. And then when it came towards the end and they were like, right, try and drink 4 litres, I was like, oh, I don't even think I was drinking 3. So this time I'm going to try and track it for as many days as I can to try and get those 3 litres in. So if you've got a water bottle or something that is measurable, makes it a whole lot easier for sure. I'm having to put my coffee cup on the scale, zero it off, put my coffee in, water, milk, sweetener, and then put it back on the scale and go, right, okay, 400 millilitres, and add it in. What snack habits have creeped back in as well? So like I said, you know, I was like, oh, just have a cookie, like, and sometimes you're eating for the sake of eating. But this week is the week for catching that. So, and obviously when you're calorie tracking as well, you will notice that obviously you've got to put everything in and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I did that, you know. And it's not about being perfect this week or next week or the week after. It's just about being aware of what you are doing. And these things are the best things to start with. And how is your sleep? You know, I had 10 hours of sleep last night because I was a bit exhausted anyway from the day before. I'd not had a great sleep, and I was like, yeah, need a good sleep. And then it just makes you feel so much better the next day. Like for me, 8 hours. I want 8 hours. So I'll go to bed early for that reason, because if I get less than 8 hours, it affects too much things. For me anyway. You might survive on less. But we can always go into sleep if that is something someone was struggling with later down the line. I love talking about sleep. But track your bedtime routine over the next few days. Are you staying up to watch an extra couple of episodes of your show? Are you like just staying up because you're like, oh, I've gone past tired now? You know, have you not got a routine? Do you not know what time you go to bed? Is it different every day? Does it depend on what you're doing? But definitely just track it over the next few days and just kind of see where it's at. If you've got a smartwatch, you know, you can always put that on if that tracks your sleep just for a few days, you know, if you don't like it. You know, I'm not saying have it on forever, but that could be just a quicker way of getting the answers rather than trying to remember what time you went to sleep and what time you got up and having to write it down, etc. And then where are your steps at? Like, have they reduced over Christmas? Have you been doing more because you've been going out and about? Whereas normally you'd be sat down at work all day, or have you been sat down all day when normally you're out and about? So again, just monitor it, just kind of see where your steps are at, you know, and these things on this page are the things that are going to get you the quickest results in the first 2 weeks. So getting your sleep on track is massively going to help. Getting your steps in, you know, be mindful of snacking and not just mindless snacking. You know, I love a good biscuit and bit of chocolate. I've already had like 3 biscuits today. I've planned another 2 in, so that'll be 5. You know, but they are planned in. They are there to enjoy, not just I'm walking past the kitchen and I've grabbed a biscuit sort of thing. Having the water is going to massively help as well. Brain fog, you know, thinking clearer, like flushing out all the toxins from all this food over, like, you know, the past few weeks or whatever, just getting your body in a good state. Like, your body is about 70% water, and I think most people are probably dehydrated. And then obviously looking at the food on your plate as well, you know, are you having a lot of takeaways? Is it a lot of processed food? All that kind of stuff. So this is what will get you the results in the first few weeks. Now, I did a webinar on this, pyramids a priority. If you are new in here, feel free to jump into the guide section of the Facebook group, and it is in there. So this is my pyramid of priority, the dog at the bottom, and this is how yours potentially may look like. So food and water may be and should be, when you're dieting, like the biggest thing that you are focusing on. Then sleep's probably the next thing, because that will govern how hungry you are, how you feel, how much energy you've got. Then you want to kind of look at your steps, obviously get that movement in every day. Self-care is something that maybe we neglect. Sometimes, you know, that self-care can look like whatever for you. For me personally, after this, I'm going to sit down on the sofa, I'm going to put Netflix on, I'm going to forget about work, because I can quite easily mindlessly scroll my phone, and I still do sometimes when I'm watching Netflix. But my self-care is putting something on, just forgetting about my phone as much as possible, and then you know, switching my brain off before I go to bed. Then obviously workouts, you know, they are important, but they're kind of like the icing on the cake. You could be completely different in this order. Like, it could be upside down, back to front, whatever. You might feel that like a workout is the most important. That sets you up for the day. That makes you eat well. That helps you get your steps in. That's your form of self-care. And that's what governs everything. So don't think that this is the right answer. Like I said, feel free to go back and watch that video, and I'll go through it all then. And have a think about these things, like what has kind of fallen off track during Christmas. So go through all these things on this list: food, water, like we just discussed, sleep, steps, self-care. Is that gone out the window? You know, is that a bath? Is that doing your nails, doing your hair? Workouts, where's your meal prep at? Do you plan things in your diary, or has it just been, oh, I've not really planned anything? Have a think about all those things. Kind of what's the main thing that's kind of disappeared over Christmas, or like I said, the last few months. And then how can you ensure these are going to get done? So can you set a reminder on your phone? Do you have a calendar? So I use Google Calendar, so absolutely love that for everything. Everyone looks at my Google Calendar is like, what is going on that? And I'm like, I know what's going on. Everything's color coded. I put my to-do list on there as well, which doesn't help because then it looks crazy. But then obviously I just slot it in, obviously when it's done, or move it to the next day if it doesn't get done. Having a calendar on the wall. So I've got one in the kitchen, just like a long slim one next to the fridge. You know, you could put it on your calendar. Can you leave yourself notes around the house to remind you to do things? On the app, there's a habit tracker, so I can add anything on there for you that you want. So if you're like, oh, every day I need to remember to do my self-care, can you put it on there? You can then set a reminder on the app to remind you at whatever time of day you want. So every day I've got mine set up to do it at, I think, 10 a.m. it goes off, and I think it just says remember about weighing in and my steps. Like, that's just what I set it up as, because obviously I don't really use it myself personally, but that is a reminder that I've set in there. So you can have habits on any days, every day, just a certain day, every other week, whatever you want. Just let me know and I can add that on for you. And if you've got any questions, like I said, as we go through, just pop them in the chat. I have got the Facebook group open. So write a list of everything that you've kind of thought of as I've gone through, of what you want to improve over this next week. Then write down how you can make some small steps to improve these. So like I said, this is just your pre-diet diet. This is just you kind of getting into that routine again, getting everything kind of back on track. So if you think, well, my sleep's gone off track, I've not had a bedtime, I've not had a get up time, you know, or I've been doing different things, then you might be like, right, okay, well, I'm going to sit and write down a bedtime routine. So what do I want to do before I go to bed? So like I said, for me, it's kind of get off my phone, stop looking at that, sit and watch Netflix, kind of wind down to that, then go and get ready for bed. Make sure by about 9:30, I'm kind of going up to bed. And then might have like half an hour in bed. I do look at my phone, I'm not going to lie to you, but I just like to try and clear notifications. Sometimes I play a game. I'll have the balance app on with the calming music, so that'll kind of get me into bed. And then by like 10 o'clock, I'm like, right, okay, I need to be asleep, because I want my 8 hours. Not that I'm getting up at 6, but you know, sometimes you have a disturbed sleep, or you might not quite get to sleep straight away. And obviously I don't always go to sleep at 10 o'clock, but if I do, I might get a 10-hour sleep in like I did today, which was great. You know, have that reminder on your phone to get ready for bed, have a time, you know, all these different things, like what are you going to do? So that is just obviously an example on sleep. You can do that with steps. So you can set a time that you want to go out, or you can remind yourself every few hours, like where's your steps at, like whatever it might be. But just start now by writing a list of things that you want to improve this week, and then just some small steps to improve. Not crazy, you know, just tiny little things. And then think about, like, what are you going to focus on this week? Like, what is a thing that you are going to focus on? What is the one thing that is going to move the needle further? So like I said, you know, it could be getting your sleep in, because then that's going to give you the energy to get your steps in, to get your workouts in, to reduce your hunger. Or it could just be completely overhauling your kitchen, because right now it is not looking great, and there's something to grab on every cupboard, every door, on the side, whatever it might be. Have a think about what is going to be the best thing that will set you up for next week. It could be absolutely anything. Like I said, absolutely anything. So I'll just have a look in the Facebook group, see if there are any questions in there. I can't see it on my phone. I meant to put my second screen on, but then I didn't, because I needed to plug it in, and I was like, I can't be bothered. But I'm going to jump into Facebook and have a look and just double check on there on my laptop. But yeah, so nothing too crazy. No, I can't see any questions on there. So yeah, so nothing too crazy, nothing like, oh, you know, you've got to do all these things. Just have a think about your environment and set yourself up for success. Don't get to next Monday and go, oh, I've not even downloaded MyFitnessPal. I don't know how to do it. I've still got all the Christmas chocolate. I've not even tried to get in a good routine with my sleep. I've not even looked where my steps are at. I don't know what my average is. All these kind of things. If you've got any questions, message me on the app, message me on Facebook, whatever you want to do. And then if there's anything that, like, there's quite a few people have got a thing on, then I might jump in and do a quick live just to cover whatever that thing is. I've got a couple of questionnaires come through already of people that are doing Project U. I'm going to look at those tomorrow and Wednesday, because Monday is a check-in day for my one-to-one clients. And obviously I'm doing this as well, and I have my business call, and now I've got my photo shoot call as well. So Monday is a super busy day. But yeah, thanks to those that have done it. If you've not already, the link is in here. If you can't find it, it's also on the app in the group. So just fill that in, and then I can kind of tailor things up a little bit better for you. And then I can send everything over by the end of the week, ready to get started on Monday. Don't forget, I need your photos and your weight by the end of the week as well. If you're coming up to time of the month, do not worry. It'll just make your photos look a little bit worse for starting. and then obviously better towards the end. So yeah, so do not worry, however you're looking, it is just a marker in the sand, as everything else is. So yeah, any questions, give me a shout and I will speak to you all soon.